Bitcoin just dropped below $115,000 as a mega Bitcoin whale continues to offload his Bitcoin. In today's video, we'll be talking about exactly this, going over the recent Bitcoin price action and how we are now holding support at a pivotal level. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. First of all, the Bitcoin chart. As you can see here, we tapped into the lower level of this range that we've drawn out on the channel for the past couple of weeks since Bitcoin made that all-time high around $123,000. So now that we're at the bottom of this range, it is a potential long scenario where I went ahead and added to my Bitcoin long. If you're part of my community, you know exactly what position I'm talking about. So what we can see here is that we broke below the 116K level, which we talked about at length. Now, if we were to tap into this level, as I discussed in my previous videos, it was highly likely that we would be breaking a little bit lower because you can see that we tapped into it several times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and of course, the fifth time we went ahead and broke below, Bitcoin went all the way down to around $114,700. Now we're getting a pretty significant bounce right here, which was exactly what we were hoping for. In most cases, breaking below a support level or above a resistance level holds true in the sense that every single time that we tap into it increases the likelihood of us breaking through, which is why we saw exactly this happen, getting a bounce from the bottom of this range, but 116K ultimately didn't hold. Now, what we have also been analyzing at length on the channel has been the Bitcoin CME gap, and you can see that we just went ahead and tapped into it. Now, is there a chance for us to come a little bit lower and grab some of that liquidity? Of course there is. But right now we are getting a pretty significant bounce, which is what we like to see. Now back to the Bitcoin chart. Now that we tapped into the CME gap, does this mean we're immediately going to move higher? Only time will tell. However, because we did get the bounce from the bottom of the range and tapping into that CME gap, I went ahead and added to my Bitcoin long. I think it's perfectly justified. And if we are expecting higher valuations for Bitcoin this cycle, this would have been a good level to enter a Bitcoin long. Now, what is next? First of all, on the lower timeframes, what I want to see is for us to truly reclaim the 116K level because you can see that it has acted as support previously. So if we go ahead and continue to break up here, hold it as support, then we can go ahead and target the top of this range. Now, another scenario that I talked about within the community was if we were to tap into this level around $120,000 and get a sharp rejection, it would have been an excellent Bitcoin short. Now, I haven't been shorting this range so far, but I did provide the signal in case some of you guys wanted to trade that. And ultimately, breaking down to the bottom of this channel was an excellent take profit point. So what is next? I'm still expecting further upside for Bitcoin. We can see that we got a bounce from the bottom of this range, and I would be expecting us to hopefully flip this 116K level as support. Also, I want to talk about altcoins because you can see that this week we are seeing a little bit of a downtrend in altcoins versus Bitcoin, which has been our base case on the channel. What happened was we popped above the bull market support band and this weekly candle is indeed red. Now, can we hold the bull market support band as support? Because for those of you that are hoping for altcoin season, you would want to see us hold this little band and then bounce off. You know my base case on the channel. I still think that Bitcoin and Ethereum will likely outperform the rest of the market, therefore also contributing to Bitcoin dominance likely moving higher. Now, we did also get a nice Bitcoin dominance bounce this week, which we were expecting. Now, the question is, can we break the highs around here, 66%? I'm not that convinced, but I do think that Bitcoin dominance will likely continue to move higher. Once we get close to this range, we can assess what will actually happen here, but as Bitcoin drops, you can see that altcoins tend to drop a little bit more. Now, if Bitcoin were to move even lower from here, I would expect Bitcoin dominance to also skyrocket. But our base case here is still higher for Bitcoin. I don't think that 123K was the top of this cycle. So that is also why I am in a Bitcoin long. Now, next thing I wanted to show you, Ethereum against Bitcoin. You can see that on this weekly time frame, we got a little bit of a pullback, ultimately nothing to be concerned about. Since we bounced from this 2019 low over here, you can see that we have seen some significant outperformance from Ethereum against Bitcoin, and of course, this gives a little bit of fuel to the altcoin market. Now, can this move lower? Of course it can, but I would be saying here that the ETH Bitcoin bottom is definitely in for this cycle. If we were to come back any lower than here, I would see this as an excellent opportunity to scale even more into Ethereum. As you know, my spot positions are both Bitcoin and Ethereum at this point in time, and I will likely be converting some of my Bitcoin into altcoins as altcoin season hopefully comes. Now, I don't think we are quite at altcoin season. I've been talking about this on the channel at length. If you've been following me, you know how I'm navigating this market. Basically, Ethereum is starting to get a little bit of a rejection here, but I still think we will be moving higher for ETH. As soon as we break past this $4,000 level, as we just touched on in terms of the Bitcoin support levels, you can see that the more times that we tap into a support or resistance level, it tends to break, as we saw with Bitcoin, and I think the reverse will happen with Ethereum as soon as we get to the 4K point. Now, my base case for ETH this cycle, between $5,000 to $7,000. I want to make that extremely clear because I have been getting some comments saying, first of all, you said 5, then you said 7, now you're going to say 10. No, my base case is between $5,000 and $7,000. I think that is perfectly realistic for Ethereum this cycle. But that's of course not without pullbacks. You can see that over the past couple of weeks, we had a massive rally for Ethereum, not just on its US dollar valuation, but also against Bitcoin. And now a pullback does of course make sense. Next thing I want to show you here, USDT Dominance. Now this isn't the best picture because I can see that we're holding this level of support, which we held as support since all the way back in 2017. So basically what you want to see here for more bullish continuation is for us to break down in USDT Dominance. And so if we start cranking up here, at that point, we could be seeing Bitcoin and the entire crypto market go a little bit lower before we potentially move higher into the end of the year. But right now I'm tracking this. You know, my base case though is that Bitcoin dominance will be increasing, but also that I think Bitcoin will be holding support at around these levels and then moving on higher. Now, we could experience some more rejection around these levels. You can see that right now we are below this yellow line over here, which coincides with the value area low of this range. If we can break above it, that would ultimately be very positive. Then we get to that point of control, that very important point of control. Last video, I was talking about how the point of control was actually holding as support. You can see that several times. We wicked to this level, held it as support, and it suggested that Bitcoin wanted to move higher. But on the upside here, you can see $123,000. Then we had just under 121K. Then we had just at 120K. And then we had another lower high right around 119.5K. So what is going to happen here? Are we finally going to break to the upside and provide some relief to the market after coming down since 123K? My base case is still yes, and this would be invalidated if we start closing below $112,000, which was the previous all-time high. And at that point, we're back into a brutal range. Hopefully that's not the case, and hopefully what we're seeing right now is just this range before we get upside. Before I go over the massive Bitcoin whales positioning, as well as what just happened between Trump and Jerome Powell, make sure to sign up with the links in my description down below if you want to join my free community. The first link here brings you to my free Telegram, and within that Telegram, you can join my premium group where I go ahead and share my exact trading setups that I take on a daily basis. Now, this premium group is also completely free. All you need to do is sign up with one of my affiliate exchange links, and then I will be happy to onboard you. Message me the word premium on Telegram, and I will be there ready to answer your messages. And of course, we also have the exchanges down below. The third link in the description brings you directly to Weeks, where you can earn a $400 bonus for simply depositing $2,000 after signing up with the third link in my description down below. And I also have a pretty special promotion with Phoenix, which allows you to deposit, to trade, and earn Solana, as well as a $1,000 cashback. As you can see here, this is a 20% cashback deal that can be found down below. It is the last link here. So before we touch on the massive Bitcoin whale, we have some pretty interesting footage between Trump and Fed Chair Jerome Powell.
Are there things the chairman can say to you today that would make you back off some of the earlier criticism?
Well, I'd love him to lower interest rates.
Just a bit of banter, as Trump has continuously shared his frustrations with Fed Chair Jerome Powell, but he actually came out and told multiple associates and allies he will not be resigning. Ultimately positive in my opinion. I know a lot of people want him to cut rates, but we know that the unemployment rate is fine. Inflation still remains a little bit sticky, and we have the stock market and the crypto market still around all-time highs. So why would he go ahead and cut rates? A lot of people want rates to be cut, but I don't think that it will be happening, especially in this next FOMC meeting. And we do have the probabilities that we covered in one of my previous videos, but basically the next potential rate cuts could be in September. Let's see what happens. Next thing I wanted to show you to wrap up this video, let's talk about the Bitcoin whale. The current sell-off is linked to Galaxy Digital sending out 30,000 Bitcoins to exchanges overnight. The company was sent 80,000 Bitcoins by an ancient Bitcoin whale last week. Now, this has been a massive topic that I know a lot of you wanted me to talk about, but basically, this whale bought Bitcoin very early days. I believe it was sub $1. And so, this wallet finally activated, and typically when a wallet like this goes online, a lot of people get scared. Now, there is a high probability here that he could be selling some of his Bitcoin to cash in on some of those profits, but there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, he held for such a long time. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. In my opinion, Bitcoin will likely be moving higher this cycle. And we also have another whale from 2011 that just woke up and sold 14,000 Bitcoins. Imagine having 14,000 Bitcoins. Let's see what happens here. I don't think that it'll be that negative for the market. Maybe it's already priced in here because we did get a dump and this could have caused a lot of panic. We are at the bottom of this range. Ultimately, if you were waiting for a Bitcoin long, it would have been right around this level when everyone was fearful. The timeline is unbelievable. People freaking out when we dump, people getting euphoric when we pump just a little bit. Try to stay level-headed, have your spot positions, stay cool, calm, collected. I don't think that the top of this cycle is in, and I will make sure to keep you updated as the price action develops and what I am doing with my personal portfolio. And that sums up today's video. Let me know your thoughts about the Bitcoin whale. Ultimately, we are still at the bottom of this range, and it was an excellent long opportunity where I kept on adding to my position. Now, I will make sure to keep you updated if things change and how I'm navigating this market, but I don't think there's that much cause for concern quite yet. If we start breaking below these levels, at that point, of course, we need to be a little bit cautious, but for now, all is well for Bitcoin, and this is just a minor correction after hitting that 123K top, and we've just been consolidating inside of this range. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.